pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody to our April 14th meeting. My name is Don Keefe. Beside me is George Kiko, the Vice President, and on the other side of him is Jennifer Leone, Trustee. I always have problems with that. Our Fire Chief Rich Peterson is also in attendance. Interim Road Superintendent Jamie May and our Zoning Inspector has been excused from coming this evening, and our Fiscal Officer, Mr. Todd Bosley, is also in attendance.
Yep.
Rich, would you like to?
Yep. First item is a resolution to approve the use of Mahon Property Maintenance of Louisville, Ohio for lawn mowing services at all three fire stations in the Township Hall for the 2020 season in the amount of $175 per mowing.
Motion to approve.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Voting, please.
George,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Second is a resolution to approve the 2022 emergency dispatching agreement with the Osnaburg Township Board of Trustees in the amount of $2,343 per month.
Motion to approve.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Voting, please.
George,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Item 3 is a resolution to approve the 2022 emergency dispatching agreement with the Suffield Township Board of Trustees in the amount of $2,451 per month.
Motion to approve.
Second?
A motion and a second. Voting, please.
George,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Fourth is a resolution to approve the 2022 emergency dispatching agreement with the Lake Township Board of Trustees in the amount of $2,375 per month.
Motion to approve.
Second?
A motion and a second. Voting, please.
George,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Item 5 is a resolution to approve the 2022 emergency dispatching agreement with the East Sparta Fire Department in the amount of $498 per month.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion and a second. Voting, please.
George,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Item 6 is a resolution to approve the 2022 emergency dispatching agreement with the Tri-Division Ambulance District in the amount of $2,745 per month.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion and a second. Voting, please.
George,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Don.
Yes. Thank you, Rich. On to Jamie.
Number 1, a resolution to approve the April 14th, 2022 road report.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion and a second. Voting, please.
George,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Number 2, a resolution to approve participating in Stark County Cooperative purchasing of rock salt for the 2022, 23, and 23 and 24 seasons, and we'll order 1,000 ton each year.
Motion to approve.
Second?
A motion and a second. Voting, please.
George,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Number 3, a resolution to award the 2022-23 road material contract.
We've got 3 contracts. I've got one from National Limestone Company.
You wanna read it? You can read it.
National Limestone Company.
Yeah, you got me. It's not gonna work.
They've got it broken down per
I'm just
material.
gonna try that. Here. Sorry.
It's broken down by material, and Jamie will have to take a look at this. At Canton Stone Yard, 304 ODOT limestone at $23.75 a ton. Number 8 limestone, $24.25 a ton. Number 4 limestone, $24.25 a ton. Number 1 limestone, $24.25 a ton. 4228 limestone at $33 a ton. 57 limestone at $24.25 a ton, and type D riprap at $37.50 a ton.
Mine came in from North Star Asphalt Incorporated, 7345 Sunset Strip, Northwest North Canton, Ohio. Hot mix 301 asphalt concrete, $48.75 a ton. 402 asphalt concrete at $55.75 a ton, and 404 asphalt concrete at $61.25 a ton. all prices at their plant at Sunset Strip.
Okay, I have Shelley Materials, out of Twinsburg. Of course, I get the volume to read. 57 limestone. Should I read the pickup or delivery?
Pick up.
Okay, it's 2065. 4 limestone is 2565. 8 limestone is 2310. 304 limestone is 2170 a ton. 1 limestone is 2110 a ton. Riprap D is 4365. Riprap C is 4645. Riprap B is 4795. 8 gravel is 11 a ton. 57 gravel, 1515 a ton. Crusher run is 1365 a ton, and 9 gravel is 525 a ton. Whatever that.
Jamie, you're gonna have to look that over a little bit
Yeah.
before we can, make a motion to do anything, so
Yeah.
we'll have to table this.
We usually do it the next following week.
Yeah.
I do not
Did they not
understand.
do any asphalt?
No, the asphalt was only from North Star. Sure, Shelley, is that who you said?
Yep.
Yeah, that's- We'll have to table that until next meeting, until Jamie gets to take a
Yep.
look through that. Okay, on to number 4, Jamie.
Okay, number 4, approved proposal from Sky Sweeping for $6,254 for power sweeping the streets in Nimishillen Township.
Motion to approve?
Second,
And a motion and a second, voting please.
George,
Yes.
Jennifer,
yes.
Don.
Yes.
And then number 5, discuss an interior and exterior lighting upgrades for the Township Road Department garage. Proposal from Abbott Electric for $6,560.
Let them know, that was for a not a replacement, but an update for inside of the bays. wasn't it, Jamie?
All LEDs, they take all the ballasts out, wire them direct, and there won't be no more ballasts.
And everything outside would be
All
new
new-
units.
all
new
Yeah.
units outside.
So, I thought that was a pretty good deal, and right now we got a lot of lights out, so.
Should I make a motion?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it.
I make a motion that we go ahead and hire Abbott Electric for interior and exterior lighting upgrades for the Township Road Department garage in the amount of $6,560.
Second,
Have a motion and a second, voting please.
George,
Yes.
Jennifer,
yes.
Don.
Yes. Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you.
Fiscal officer, Mr. Bossa, you're up to bat, buddy.
Do you want to do our first amendment that we have there?
Oh, I got it, well, go ahead and do it for number 1A.
Okay, we can add it on to the end.
That's okay, buddy, I'll go ahead and do it, make life easy. We
Okay.
have got, Todd to give me, we need to have a resolution to pay Sedgwick out of, the P.O. Box, I'm sorry, P.O. Box 89456, Cleveland, Ohio, 44101. They take care of our, workers' compensation for us. The amount of $2,645.
Motion to approve?
Second,
A motion and a second, voting please.
George,
Yes.
Jennifer,
yes.
Don.
Yes.
Okay, first, approve minutes from the March 24, 2022 trustees meeting.
Motion to approve?
Second,
Motion and a second, voting please.
George,
Yes.
Jennifer,
yes.
Don.
Yes.
Number 2, approve second quarter payment to the auditor of the state for the UAN fees in the amount of $948.
Motion to approve?
Second,
We have a motion and a second, voting please.
George,
Yes.
Jennifer,
yes.
Don.
Yes.
Number 3, approve monthly service payment to Ohio Billing in the amount of $1,917.
Motion to approve?
Second,
Motion and a second, voting please.
George,
Yes.
Jennifer,
yes.
Don.
Yes.
Number 4, approve payment to the Louisville Rotary Club in the amount of $30 for flag placing on holidays.
Motion to approve?
Second,
Motion and a second, voting please.
George,
Yes.
Jennifer,
yes.
Don.
Yes.
Number 5, approve overpayment to resident with Ohio Billing in the amount of $25.
Motion to approve?
Second,
Motion and a second, voting please.
George,
Yes.
Jennifer,
yes.
Don.
Yes.
Number 6, approve refund to TRICARE for overpayment on a claim with Ohio Billing in the amount of $83.76.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Have a motion and a second, voting please.
George?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Okay. Number 7, approve payment to Baker Dublicar in the amount of $1,797.62 for general township matters.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Have a motion and a second, voting please.
George?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Number 8, approve refund to UMR/30541 auto insurance for overpayment on a resident's claim with Ohio Billing in the amount of $130.28.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Have a motion and a second, voting please.
George?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Number 9, approve to amend the permanent appropriations from General Fund 1000 to 1000-760-700 in the amount of $135,000.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Have a motion and a second, voting please.
George?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Number 10, approve refund payment to resident for bill he paid twice with Ohio Billing in the amount of $270.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Have a motion and a second, voting please.
George?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Okay, thanks Todd.
Don, I do have one more. They did do the asphalt.
Oh, they had it in there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Page 2.
Glasses on.
Shelley Materials asphalt pricing from Canton HMA plant. 301 asphalt, $56.50 a ton. 448-2, $60 a ton. And 448-1, $68.25 a ton.
What are you looking at difference from last year, Jamie, with that quote?
Probably about $12, $14, I think.
20%. Almost 30%.
I'm gonna have to trim it down a little bit. Thanks, Jamie. Okay, moving on to concerns of the citizen. I believe I've got Heather Sickle. You're up to bat. If you could please state your address and your name when you get up there, please.
Sure. My name's Heather Sick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I live at 4501 Foster Drive, Louisville 44641.
Thanks.
And I get nervous talking in front of people, so I'm gonna try and get through this.
That's fine.
This is important to me. So I came here to talk about the new 5G and the towers that they've been putting up, and the likely that they're going to be putting up what's called small cells in our neighborhoods. And the main concern is like the health impact that it could have on our community, and mainly I started researching it because I have 2 young ones at home, and if they do put these small cell towers, it'll be 24/7 radiation that's gonna be like right by their bedrooms. So that's one of the main concerns that I have. And I did bring some papers to, if you guys wanna look through them, and then I didn't make copies. I just, like, if you want information, I'll,
Yeah.
Sure.
And we'll have to scan it and then share it with everybody.
Okay.
So one copy's fine.
Okay, thank you. So one of the first ones I have is just talks about like what is 5G, and once I pass these out, I'll kind of go over the main, I'll try and get through the main stuff, but like there's a flyer on what it is, and the issues, and the peer-reviewed research on it. And I have a packet with the independent science. It was compiled by a grassroots environmental education group called Environmental Health Trust. So I have that, and then Americans for Responsible Technology, that's who compiled that. And there's 2 different organizations that I basically found my information from, and one is Americans for Responsible Technology, and the other one is Environmental Health Trust. And the next packet will be basically kind of breaking down what the science says, so that'll be that one. And then I brought, the worldwide policy, so there are places that are trying to, make it safer and or banning it in their areas in different countries, and there is one place in Ohio, Mason, Ohio. They have no small cells in residential areas or within 100 feet of residential property, 2,000 feet apart unless, collocated. Equipment should be underground or wholly contained, so not visible. So just like different things like that. One of the other main concerns I found is how it could dramatically alter our natural world. So like it does, science has shown that it impacts honeybees and beetles, are just a couple examples, and then it cites the scientific references. And then this is one of the main things for me too is 5G is more powerful, and like with the cell phones, the radiation that children absorb, if you can see in the picture, like the brain of the 5-year-old, if you can see that amount, that's how much they absorb in their brain compared to adults. And then they also say like for pregnant women and elderly and anyone with a pacemaker, it affects them at a greater, and then some of the biggest insurance companies, or pretty much all the insurance companies, they label 5G as a high impact liability risk. And it kind of talks about that. And there's the basic issues that surrounds the 5G, and I kind of summed that up. And then some of the main recent and significant health studies on the radiation from the NIH, one's from the Ramazani Institute study, and then cancer epidemiology update, and then the reproductive health studies. I have a lot of information here, so I'll try and get through it. And then there's the OTAR rule, which stands for over-the-air reception device, and it just talks about how the FCC has eliminated most local control over the placement of the 5G antennas, so that's kind of one of the things about that. And then one of the main last things, there's an ordinance here, like an example of one of the places that have already passed something that like protects the community, so this is kind of a nice example of that. And then just the last thing is just like if anybody is interested, this has suggestions on reducing exposure at home and like what you can do for your families. So I'll pass these around.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have small cell towers around here now, do you know?
No, but in order for 5G to work, and that's what like they're kind of planning in the future is it'll have to be placed like every other household, yes. And it kind of,
Like every other household almost, you say?
most likely, like it goes on to say, it is estimated that millions of these wireless transmitters will be built in our right-of-ways directly in front of our homes.
Are these going on, like powerful, like, yeah, from the
Poles, yeah.
Yeah,
From what I understood, you have it on a telephone pole.
Yeah.
They're small units.
yeah, they're like a little box like this big or something, yeah.
But they give off like, basically kind of like the main bullet points, and for anybody who like, if they don't understand what the 5G, it's the next generation of wireless technology. It uses new types of radio frequency, RF microwave radiation to transmit large amounts of data. The rollout of 5G will mean the deployment of up to 800,000 powerful new antennas in neighborhoods all over across America. And here's some of the facts. In 2018, the NIH released a study proving that exposure to RF radiation from wireless devices and antennas causes cancer. This corroborated a robust body of independent, peer-reviewed scientific research showing significant biological impacts from exposure to RF microwave radiation, including clear evidence, which they stated, of cancer, neurological and cognitive harm, heart abnormalities, reproductive effects, and microwave sickness, among other serious health problems. Populations especially at risk include pregnant women, children, the elderly, and individuals with implanted medical devices. And then the human exposure guidelines for RF microwave radiation used by the FCC are nearly 25 years old, so they're outdated. That's the last time they did anything to test it on humans to see if it was safe. There's a lot of independent research, but as far as the FCC, and then the American Academy of Pediatrics and the American Academy of Environmental Medicine and the American Association for Justice and other expert organizations have all called for the FCC to update this public exposure guidelines. Major insurance companies have refused to insure telecoms against losses from personal liability claims related to exposure to wireless radiation. Swiss Re, regarding the second largest reinsurance company in the world, has classified 5G as a high impact liability risk due to potential adverse health impacts. Local governments across the country are busy strengthening their municipal codes to protect their communities. Many are rejecting applications for the 5G small cell antenna installations near homes and schools on the basis of aesthetics, safety, privacy, property values, security, lack of insurance, and a failure by applicants to prove a significant gap in personal wireless service coverage. So those are kind of the main things. There's just a few other. There's been scientists who have been trying to stop this for quite a few years, or at least the past 5 years. But in 2017, over 180 scientists and doctors from 35 countries signed an appeal stating that we recommend a moratorium on the rollout of the 5th generation 5G for telecommunication until potential hazards for human health and the environment have been fully investigated by scientists independent from industry. RF EMF has been proven to be harmful for humans and the environment. And then just your question about I believe you asked about the small cells. The radiation from small cells is not small. Wireless antennas emit microwaves, non-ionizing radio frequency radiation, and essentially function as cell towers. So it would be like a cell tower in each house, by each house. Radiation emitted from small cells is expected to typically travel from 10 feet to several hundred feet. Millions of small cells to be built in front yards. 5G will add to, not replace, our current wireless technology. 5G will add in another layer of wireless radiation to our environment. 5G will not only utilize wireless frequencies already in use, but also add in higher frequencies, sub-millimeter and millimeter waves, in order to transmit data at super fast speeds. And communities are being stripped of their right to make decisions about this new technology. Streamlining means almost automatic approval. Public notice and public hearings are being eliminated, even if every homeowner on the street opposes. But like I said, that's why I think it's important, especially that last packet.
Page from Mason, Ohio, that one.
Yeah, that, and then the ordinance, the example of one of the things that they actually did win. It took a couple years, but they did end up, there's several places who did fight back and they were able to stop it. And then cumulative daily radiation exposure poses serious public health risks. Peer-reviewed published science indicates that exposure to wireless radiation can increase cancer risk and alter brain development and damage sperm. Most people are unaware that wireless technology was never tested for long-term safety, that children are more vulnerable, and that the accumulated scientific evidence shows harm. And then just one of the other things is it decreases property values. Studies show property values drop up to 20% on homes near cell towers. And U.S. unions have already filed comments that workers were injured, unaware that they were working near transmitting antennas. The heavy, large equipment cabinets mounted on poles along our sidewalks also present new hazards. Cars run into utility poles often, and that could be another safety issue. One of the things they suggest is a safer alternative. Worldwide, many regions invest in safer and smarter fiber optic cabling all the way to each home rather than antennas in front yards. Wired fiber optic connections are safer, faster, more reliable, provide greater capacity, and are more cyber secure. So those are just some of the main, points that I had.
Thank you.
Welcome.
We'll see, Sandy will scan those and send them to everybody. Thanks, Heather. No offense, we didn't know
Thank
this,
you.
so we're not a bunch of bad people.
Thank you.
Hey, Stephanie Price, come on up.
Should have been to SpaceX. That's who launches all the satellites to do the 5G. There's like 2,300 of them already on the satellite, but look it up, it's called SpaceX. Cause I don't like that 5G stuff either, but just so you know. And then we gotta deal with all these gas prices, but we launch all these satellites up there. I mean, that takes shuttles, all that, I don't understand it either, but I'm gonna side note. Anyhow, so, you need me to announce my name, Stephanie
Oh,
Price,
yeah.
9033 Columbus Road, Louisville, Ohio, 44641. So I came up here today to revisit this situation on the alleys. If we could be so kind, whether that means I gotta appeal it, whether you guys would sit down and like, let's actually look at all this documentation together again. I just don't know that we actually have all of our facts together, is what I believe is the situation. So, after our last meeting of how it got, you guys decided not to resolute that, which I thought I came up here to discuss it. I didn't realize that it was actually a decision being made. I'm nervous too, just so that you
can't tell.
my heart is racing. So, but anyhow, so I was like, okay, well, it is what it is. I'll just go ahead and get it surveyed. My entire intent was to get everything lined up so that starting at the beginning, we would be able to just start fresh. Obviously, after these 2 years, that's not been the way that it's gone down. So I'm asking if one more time we could do this all over again. Reason being, I do have my surveyor. He has now 4 weeks to get it done. So that probably will take us to, he has 3 weeks to get my survey done. In this survey, of course, then I have to get it lotted with the alleyway already there. If we end up taking that alleyway away, then I have to repay to get this replatted, this, that, the other. So I went up there with the surveyor and him and I started marking out based off of what we're looking at and based off of how I'm looking at it. And I even had to take white paint because I'm a visual kind of person, and I white paint out where my property lines are in conjunction with this alleyway. And I'll show you this because I actually printed out a better picture. So on Honey Alley, how when you look at it, you're like, okay, yep, this is just the alleyway. But when you actually get down and look at it here, the electric pole was 1.5 feet into the alleyway. I was under the impression that it was in my area. And then you look at the cemented, what seems to be road or drive or whatever, you know. And that's actually half of the alleyway, and the other half is my personal property, of which the neighbor's been parking in my personal property this entire time. I just had no realization of this. Then we get into the actual Honey Alley itself, and the reason why you guys said no to this resolution was because it was going to jeopardize her livelihood, meaning she couldn't get in and get her trailer and put her trailer in this locked garage that she needed to do based off of her husband's business. So, and I'll show you this picture. It's physically impossible for you to pull off Columbus Road into Honey Alley, make the cut with even just a car. You can't make that cut and then cut into her drive or his drive, or not drive, but garage. It's physically impossible to do so. So that's why I just don't know that, I think the decision was done prematurely. I don't know that all of the facts were discovered prior to the decision being made. But here's some pictures and you guys can see. Ooh, sorry. So this I just printed today. So this is fresh off the press today. So if you come off Columbus Road and you come through Honey Alley, here's the electric pole, of which I did call and I did have that taken down. But it's physically impossible for her to come in or him come in, cut, turn, and make it into there.
This alley's still in effect here too, correct?
Correct, and that's Sugar Alley. And going back 2 years ago, when I came to you guys about this, the whole reason is because I want to get this all replatted into one parcel. It has my water, it has my septic, it would just be a lot easier to have it all onto one, do it all at one fell swoop, thus making my business property more, what's the word? Viable, lucrative,
Worth more.
worth more,
This is your septic system here.
correct.
Yeah.
And then the other problem that, and I've been avoiding this because I do know that technically, this is Sugar Alley. You know, we have discovered already now that it is a public platted road. It was publicly platted back in 1827,
Just as this was.
just as this was. They were all done together.
And that used to go in behind Maddie's too.
But she had that vacated.
Yeah.
She had that vacated, and actually,
Pardon me?
Used to, yeah, she had
Yes.
vacated.
when I came to you guys 2 years ago, on the auditor page, it didn't show that it was vacated. But then we found out she actually did have it vacated back in 1985 or something like that, 87, but it never got recorded. So that's why when I came to you guys that first time, I was like, let's get rid of this whole thing. And then she's like, no, I already got rid of my half, but it wasn't recorded, so. Either way, so, now this alleyway here, you know, technically is a public platted road, so it leaves us in the situation of, hey, either A, let's vacate it, or B, technically speaking, it should be taken care of through the township, because it is a public platted road. And I have been told that you guys will not take care of this. We all know that this has no gravel, there's trees growing, everything, but if we're gonna leave it open, then I want this all taken care of and re-gravel and everything, because then I
We don't have to
can,
do that stuff, I mean.
Yeah, just 'cause you're
We
limited
don't
doesn't
have to
mean we
do
have to.
that, yeah.
okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's fine,
Have you checked on your setbacks for this lot here?
Yep.
For building a new building here,
Yep.
what your setbacks would be?
Yep.
What did they say?
I'd have to look at my notes on that, cause sorry, you know, I don't remember everything.
Yeah, I'm
based
just
off
kinda
my-
curious, cause
my,
you're, you'll never,
Post-concussion stuff.
they won't allow it to be as close as it was before.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's something, I think 50 foot from something, there's 15 foot from something, from the center line of this, it's all written
Yeah.
down somewhere, but either way, I would just like to revisit this and
So
not
you
to
can
mention.
go wider. You can go wider.
Correct, then I can go wider, you know, and I haven't even said anything about this, we all know that she uses this as a personal drive, but technically it's a public road. We have gotten hollered at for parking here in this alleyway so that she can get through, but yet she's allowed to park here anytime she wants to. I feel like it's both ways, like we're trying to, it just can't be both, it's either the law's the law, or, you know, you get where I'm at. I gotta think of the right words to say. This was the old one, back when I came to you guys originally, what it looked like.
the process since, Jim, you're still here, the process since we decided not to vacate the alley, it becomes the process for her next step is to naturally go to the county, correct? But the county said township has to act first.
Yes.
No,
That's, yeah,
Whether
that's,
it's first or second, it has to be, something from the township has to be passed approving it
yeah, that's right,
before the board would act.
right, yeah.
Board of Commissioners.
she can reapply though, right, Jim?
Yeah, she could also reapply.
No matter what, this is from Rick Ford, period, I've gone down there 1,000 times.
It has to come
It
from us
has,
first.
a resolution, no matter what, has to come from you guys before they can do literally anything. All I'm asking for right is like, can I at least get Honey Alley? I have not one time said anything about Sugar Alley. And we know that Sugar Alley is an issue and a concern, we know this. She wants to use this as her personal drive, technically it's a public platted road. If I wanna get in there with my business stuff, because I intend to put a business there, then what? I was told I'm gonna have to call the cops on her every time. I don't wanna have to do that, I'm not trying to get into a neighbor battle. This is why I've been trying to just get it set up from the first time. So,
Yeah, we don't have all parties here either, right? So we had everybody here at the last meeting or a month ago, right? Or she was on the phone.
She was on the phone.
Yeah, and I
She
had
was-
no idea that was even going down.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother,
Which people are allowed to call in if they can't
Mhm.
physically be there, like a Zoom meeting or what have you.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Just had
We
no
will
idea
do-
how
you
that
see
was
what I'm
going.
saying? So it makes sense if you're gonna have the arguments on both sides before I make a decision, I wanna hear both sides. That's what we did last time. We revisited this thing twice before I did, and we didn't get anywhere. So, I mean, my vote was no, and I'm still fine with that, but, you know, if you wanna bring it back up and bring it to a formal.
No, I'm not going to. That's kinda, I'm like, this is my last hope. I'm not doing any more formal things. I'm not going to attorneys. I've already done everything that I should have done, because this is something that, quite frankly, I feel nobody wants to handle. It's not just my road that's a issue, you guys have tons of roads, obviously, that we know of, that are in the township, and many people have came here with concerns. And it just keeps getting kind of pushed away, pushed to the back, or, you know, hope that it kind of goes away. So, I already went, I got my fence permit. If it doesn't get vacated, that's fine, then unfortunately, I'm gonna put my fence up. She's not gonna be able to get in and out, and I will have to call the cops. I just don't wanna do that.
Well, you know, Stephanie, if we would vacate that, it would still be the same scenario for her parking, regardless of either way.
Correct, and that's what I was like, I'll just leave it be, hey.
Right, well, that's what we tried to work out. She was
So-
willing to, if she could get honey, she was going to give, her part of sugar to Kelly to give her a driveway. You know, it'd be like a really good deal.
I mean, I have
What's that
people
now?
now calling after that last
Pardon me?
meeting, people are calling me and they're upset.
I know, we've
They're
gotten calls
upset
too.
that they're now gonna have to pay tax dollars because we're leaving this open for her to be able to pull through. They're upset. I'm getting upset too, because now every time that I now know where my property lines really are, I drive by and see her parked, but in my own parking, like, literally, right here. She parks right here. You know, and if you look, here's the gravel drive, right, which you think is where, and this is where she's been, and everybody does, or had been, you know, they pull in through here, because, well, the electrical's here. That whole side is all my property. So she pulls in through here, because that's what you think is the road, and then clearly she cuts through to get in. This is my property as well,
If you put up a fence, how close to the line are you allowed to put it?
30 inches
Okay.
from the property.
I knew it was all
Right,
set.
but then we have the debate where they're saying the roadway is 15 feet and
Yeah,
we
I
just, we keep,
spoke
this
with Jim
keeps.
about that, and he did say that, since it's not really,
It's not a road for
used
public
road,
use, yeah,
it's-
and it,
Paper road.
It can be
it's on the
30
memo that you
inches.
just sent us.
Yeah, if it was Paris or Columbus, it's gotta sit back.
Yeah.
10 to 15 foot?
It's not considered public use, it's not considered open to the public at large for travel or transportation with use by abutting owners, guests, and vendors being insufficient. So that means them using it, it's not considered a public road, because the public at large is not using it. It's the people who are,
You know,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
yeah, I spoke with Jim about that.
Right,
Speaking of what you just said about it, I'm kind of glad that you mentioned that.
right.
Because in the road petition that I got, so I went around and got all the signatures, cause that's what you guys had said to me to do, that this was the only way that I could get this alley, is to go through and get these signatures. So I did what you guys told me to do, I go through and do it. In it, it says the only person that can object is the abutting owner. On Honey Alley, I am the only abutting neighbor.
But anybody's in that
She
neighborhood's
had-
allowed to their opinion.
Well, correct.
Opinion.
But that's why I had to go get my 12 signatures. Those are 12 opinion signatures that said they're okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking when you said, well, the other party's not here, I don't even know why she needs to be here. This is my property. She has access into hers.
If you are going to revisit it, I still think you should consider the criteria that we laid out in that policy. And just weight them however you want. Future use, current use, all the things that are listed in there.
Alright, well, to me, what do you wanna do? Do you wanna bring it, talk, look at it again and bring it up at the next
I'm
meeting?
struggling with it because she is the abutting property owner. I mean, it's like, you know, it's her property on each side of the alley, so, I mean, that's a fact, correct, Jim?
It is one of the factors, yeah.
Right, so,
And it's a paper road, we've talked about that,
Right.
it's not really being,
We've talked about a couple of things Jim and I talked about,
yeah.
non-maintenance.
Part of your mileage.
Yeah,
part of
it's
it.
not
and
part
she
of our
is
mileage.
technically trying to develop it for business, and we're saying, no, you can't connect your parcels, which would make her property more valuable, because there's a, you know what I mean? She's limited on the size of her building because of the setbacks. And if she had that width, she could, you know, if we vacate the alley, then she can go wider, so.
I think you're gonna have a problem where your septic's located at. You know what I'm saying, if you're thinking you're gonna put a building and come wider, it's gonna be an issue, this is gonna be an issue for you. You'd have to bring your building up towards the front, and then I'm worried about your setback here. I don't know that you'll even be able to use that system, but that's just, it has nothing to
See,
do with the
that,
alley.
I think some of that is back that way, Jordan, but yeah, I mean, it's close up.
Yeah, it's like a commercial mound system or something right here. It's
Yeah.
fenced, like the fence is all
There,
falling down, right?
it's pretty well down.
Yeah, I've already gotten with the EPA and everything, they've already came out, checked it all, they said it's definitely reusable, obviously I'll have to get it back up to whatever. That's all my notes too, whomever I spoke with, and Jeff, though, even last time he talked with the guy and said that it'll be good to go,
Mhm.
to reuse.
Well, I recommend we bring it up at the next meeting.
See Jeff and, yeah, go ahead.
So come back on the
It'll be the 28th.
28th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That'll be cool, cause that'll be about the time frame too that my survey will be done, that way at least I can say, hey,
Who surveyed it for you?
same guy that did it 10 years ago, construction. whatever it is.
Constitution?
Or Constitution, thank you, sorry.
Constitution.
Starts with a C,
Yeah.
too many words,
Yeah.
buddy. This is a lot.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Tim.
Is there anything else on that?
Thank you. No, that's it.
For zoning, I make a motion to accept the April 14th, 2022 zoning report.
Second?
I have a motion and a second, voting please.
George,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
And then number two, make a motion to accept the March 2022 Stark County Auditor Permit Report.
Second?
Motion and a second, voting please.
George,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
And the discussion of the trustees road signage.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, George.
Well, driving around the township, if you noticed lately, and I talked to Jamie about it a little bit, there are signs everywhere, like mosquito signs and septic signs and like
Buy
every.
your house for cash signs.
Yeah, buy your house for cash sign. And it's not, they're up on the telephone poles now, have you noticed lately?
That clean.
You're not supposed to be on the,
Yeah, they're on the
poles.
telephone poles.
I know that.
So I noticed a couple other townships have been taking them down, and I just think we should maybe put, our zoning onto a schedule and say, hey, once a month, go through these intersections, we got mowing coming out, they're gonna get whacked, they're gonna get blowed all over.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know if we need to pass a resolution to that effect, I think we have the ability to maintain these intersections for safety and for, you know,
And that's something, Sandy, if you could put on our website, under road department, the 30 days is the utmost limit, then we'll be removing your roadside signs,
Yeah.
portable, I mean, the stick kind.
maybe from the 1st to the 5th of every month, he goes out and, you know, it's 44 in Easton and 44 in Columbus and 44.
Who's gonna plug 'em?
Georgetown. I'd have Jeff do it when he's out.
Well, I think you
I'm
should do
thinking
the road
crew.
Or
crew,
the road
because
crew
for
if they want.
safety, you got
Yeah.
one in the truck and one, cause you have to park, get
Get
out,
out,
and then, you
And,
know.
and that's
Sorry.
part of their,
Yeah,
that's part
it's
of
the
their
road.
domain.
Yeah, it's,
yeah.
I mean, that's why I brought it up. I didn't know.
No, George, it was a wonderful idea, cause we've got a bunch of them.
Yeah, it's getting, it seems like there's more and more for
There
whatever
is,
reason.
Okay, perfect.
Is that all right with you guys?
So we can do that, Justin calling the company, you know, the people.
Yeah.
And I think once he makes those calls,
Just go out.
and they know we're gonna be taking them down, they'll quit doing it.
Yeah.
So, and it is not too good for the bearings on the mower.
And the
Yeah,
wires, the
wires.
wires, and
Yeah.
then, and even on the telephone poles, you be going down east, and they're like, all these telephone poles are scattered with them, you know, just,
I think Jeff's been calling the power company and talking to them,
Okay.
so.
That's illegal.
You're not allowed to do that,
Yeah.
yeah.
okay.
Thanks,
Well,
Jamie.
If you can put it on your radar.
I think we can handle it.
Okay, perfect, I appreciate it.
We can make a resolution that we adjourn.
I second.
And a motion and a second, voting please?
Don,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Jennifer.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.